The numbers are clearly manifesting that the Narendra Modi political brand is on a decline. That after the Bharat Joro Yatra, Rahul's persona became as one of a social and a moral crusader, talking about India moving away from that whole conversation on this nafrat that is being spread in the country. Now with the vote chori campaign, especially after that very arresting performance that he did in putting out a hard data and narrating it in a way that the common person understood when he talked about their entire vote chori in the Bengaluru Central constituency. I think that the whole narrative on India's democratic foundations being fragile have now caught the public imagination. If you look at him in Bihar, he's campaigning as a politician. He's no longer trying to soft pedal what are really hot button subjects. That to me will be the big talking point of the next year. I mean, Rahul Gandhi needs to make one spectacular comeback, which I think will put this whole conversation on Modi versus Rahul in place. I think Rahul is sounding seasoned, smart. He's fighting it out. He should not lose people from his team. This is a good time for him to get people together, be inspirational, forward looking, create an agenda, talk about your own plans. But yes, I think go hammer and tongs on issues that affect the common man. That Rahul Gandhi continues with the same brio, fire in his belly, whether he sits on a bullet, sits on a bull tomorrow. You got to do it. You got to do it. Simple as that. Remember that it was Mrs. Gandhi who sat famously on an elephant
The
and
elephant, yeah.
started. Yeah, you remember the whole Belchi thing. I think Belchi, right? Was it?
Yeah, Belchi moment.
Yeah, the whole comeback began. I think Rahul Gandhi could be doing it on a bullet. And I think that's great news for India.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought provoking conversations. The August 2025 Mood of the Nation poll shows Prime Minister Narendra Modi's performance rating dipping marginally. While 62% of respondents rated his performance as good in February 2025 survey, the figure now stands at 58%. But despite the slight decline, the numbers reflect a sustained public approval for PM Modi after 11 years in office. This is what mainstream media is reporting. Now, as many as 34.2% of responders call Prime Minister Modi's performance in his third term so far outstanding. So 34.2% say outstanding, 23.8% of them thought it was good, and about 12.7% of people call PM Modi's performance average, against 12.6% and 13.8% of participants calling it poor and very poor, respectively. And if you look at the performance of Rahul Gandhi as the opposition leader, he tops the chart amongst the opposition leaders. And so which really goes to show a lot of things about the way the nation, the mood of the nation is perceiving the leaders. And also the NDA, there is a drop for NDA. There is a certain acceptability for the India bloc as well. So we'll try and discuss all of this. Is it, if you discuss the things in context with Rahul versus Modi, so we'll try and analyze all of this. Joining me this evening is former Congress spokesperson, author, and political commentator Sanjay Jha. Sanjay joins us this evening, and he's been all across the TV channels on this Mood of the Nation survey. Sanjay, what are the big takeaways according to you when it comes to Rahul versus Prime Minister Modi?
Neelu, good evening. I believe that firstly, you got to take all these surveys with a pinch of salt or a bucket full of pepper. Having factored that caveat at the very beginning, let me state that even these surveys are actually quite revealing. So let's not be cynical. Let's take it at face value and
Yeah.
see what the numbers tell us. The numbers are clearly manifesting that the Narendra Modi political brand is on a decline. and it seems to be on a sharp decline actually, because I don't think this survey has yet captured the mood of the people in Bihar and different parts of India ever since Rahul Gandhi has launched this whole vote chori campaign. I do think that's going to have a very exponential effect. But one of the things that the survey clearly indicates is that Narendra Modi's ultimate gambit in politics has been that he is the muscular nationalist. He is that, the chappan inch ki chhati ultra nationalist that the country can feel very safe with. After the Pahalgam massacre and the Operation Sindoor that followed, and that very surprising ceasefire that over the last 30 times Donald Trump has said happened within 5 hours of his telling both the Pakistan and Indian establishments to do a ceasefire. I think Mr. Modi's image there has taken a very, very serious dent. Uh, Also, couple that with the fact that the economy hasn't done well. They will still flash these fancy GDP numbers, but I can tell you they're all very questionable data. We can debate that another day. The truth is that India is struggling even in the face of what's happening in Bihar today. So Mr. Modi is on a decline. Rahul Gandhi clearly is now arrived. I think let's not even debate that point anymore. I have been in the past critical of the Congress leadership not being dynamic enough. But let me tell you right now that after the Bharat Joro Yatra, Rahul's persona became as one of a social and a moral crusader, talking about India moving away from that whole conversation on this nafrat that is being spread in the country. Now, with the vote chori campaign, especially after that very arresting performance that he did in putting out a hard data and narrating it in a way that the common person understood when he talked about their entire vote chori in the Bengaluru Central constituency, I think that the whole narrative on India's democratic foundations being fragile have now caught the public imagination. If you look at him in Bihar, he's campaigning as a politician. He's no longer trying to soft pedal what are really hot button subjects. And I think in taking on Narendra Modi directly, he's puncturing one mainstream media's obsession that if you take on Modi, then it's going to boomerang on you. And I'll tell you why this is a very fallacious argument. On the one hand, the mainstream media will tell you that the Modi factor is the only factor why the BJP has a head start. Then they tell the Congress, don't criticize Modi. Well, if the Congress then criticizes BJP is getting no dividends because Modi is above it all. So someone has to take on, and no leader in the world, take it from me, history teaches us that is infallible, invulnerable. Modi brand is under a completely serious decline. Is it irreversible? Time will tell. Bihar will be the proof of the pudding in the eating. But Rahul Gandhi as a politician, Rahul Gandhi is a canny guy, as a smart cookie, as someone who's showing a hunger for winning, I think has clearly been demonstrated in Bihar. And I believe this will have a snowballing effect with Rahul getting more belligerent in the weeks and months ahead. There are lots of big elections coming up next year. It portends good for the India alliance. And I think the BJP has enough reason to be worried.
But Sanjay, I also want to talk to you about the figures that have been quoted by this Move the Nation survey, which clearly says, and I'm just going to read out a few things which come out that 34.2% of responders calling PM Modi's performance in his third term as far outstanding. Now, do we take this figure with a pinch of salt, given the fact that this survey was done between July and August 14th? 31st, I think 30th July and August 14th. This was the time when this survey was done. Of course, the sample size is a little above 50,000. And so, does it go to show that people still don't see Modi's alternative anywhere? And if they are calling Modi's performance outstanding, despite the fact that constantly people have been questioning Modi on Operation Sindoor, the Pahalgam attack, then on the geopolitical front, how Trump has been battering Modi, and then comes now the vote chori campaign. Do you still believe that 34.2% of responders still feel that his performance is outstanding?
I can tell you straight the answer is no. If you look at just the three main headwinds against the Modi government, they have been the Operation Sindoor and the ceasefire, number one. which is brokered by Trump as he has claimed it, and the government itself has not been able to contradict him successfully. Point number two, the tariffs have boomeranged on India. Take it from me, this is going to have serious economic consequences, and 50% tariff makes a mockery of India's foreign policy completely. Now, suddenly the Bhakt Brigade is very excited that we are going to go to China when China was on the side of Pakistan during Operation Sindoor. So you can understand how desperate the narrative is becoming. The third is vote chori, which I believe has caught the national imagination. For anyone to believe that Mr. Modi's performance has been outstanding is frankly is very obtuse thinking, prima facie on facts and data. I mean, obviously his bhakts will love him because they love that whole Hindutva, uh, kind of storyline. But the bottom line is this, Neelu, that if you add the economic issues, joblessness, the fact that at the end of the day, the entire economy is actually flat and very stagnant, there is nothing to really talk home about. Corruption is skyrocketing through the roof. So you have serious problems. So I completely disagree with those numbers. And I'm convinced that these are symptoms of change in this country. Bihar could be, in my opinion, a very significant election result, like most are. But in case of Bihar, because it is a state from the, what we call as the northern, the Hindi belt, a very crucial bastion of sentiment, and one where caste plays a bigger factor than religious polarization. So it's going to be a test, definitely, for the opposition as well as the BJP. But I think anyone who believes that Mr. Modi has done anything above average to good is really living in a fool's paradise. I'm sorry, with due respects, I've got to say that.
No, but Sanjay, also, there's a public approval of the NDA government's performance, which has dropped noticeably. Now, 62.1% of respondents rated its performance as good in February 2025, and the figure has now fallen to 52.4%, which means
Mhm.
10% drop, which is not a small number. What does this go to show?
Well, Nilu, here is the point, right? I mean, first and foremost, we are not going to discuss here how the sample sizes were chosen, whether it was evenly distributed, whether it was representative of the entire demographic of India across different regions. So let's assume that everything was scientifically accurate, which we all know is nay impossible. But here is the bottom line. And I keep coming down to the bottom line because the truth is the truth. The brass tacks have to be addressed. I feel that even this survey has been unable to kind of run away from the truth that I think a lot of people talk about, at least privately, if they want to do it on television channels or social media, that there is a perceptible decline in the confidence in institutions, in the fact that Mr. Modi's leadership appears to be extremely wobbly. The BJP as a party is looking extremely muddled. And maybe it's happening because they are now in a coalition government. That for the first time, they are in a coalition government. And truth be said, the JDU after Bihar elections could be a different kettle of fish to deal with for the government. And if the JDU becomes, shall we say, weak, what could it prompt Chandrababu Naidu to do? You never know. I mean, Indian politics is far too fluid for any one of us to believe that this government is going to last till 2029. I also feel that one of the reasons why the SIR is a big issue in Bihar is because the facts are on the table. Is because the BJP was to be very worried about which way will the Bihar elections go. So I do feel that at the moment the sentiment from Bihar seems to be that they clearly need change. People have felt betrayed. Nobody there in Bihar, a simple person who is an ordinary individual, wants to feel that even my one right, fundamental right, could be violated through an institutional conspiracy. So I think these are all emotional factors. I think Rahul Gandhi and Tejasvi and the whole lot are doing a brilliant campaign on the ground. And we'll have to wait and see how it plays out electorally. But truth be said, India requires at this point of time a different kind of dynamism in political leadership. And Mr. Modi doesn't seem to be the man for the moment.
Since we are discussing things, in context with Rahul versus Modi, I also want to come back to what is really happening politically. If elections are held today, we've all been speculating whether Prime Minister will continue to remain as prime minister once he turns 75, which is going to he's going to turn 75 this September. But yesterday, Mohan Bhagwat made a statement that neither is he going to retire nor Prime Minister Modi is going to retire. What does it really mean? Uh, in terms of is there a tacit understanding now between Prime Minister Modi and Bhagwat? How would you look at that statement coming from Bhagwat?
Niru, I have always believed that the RSS talks with a forked tongue. They are very convenient, extremely opportunistic. When Mohan Bhagwat said retirement at 75, many people took that to be an insinuation against Narendra Modi. But don't forget, Narendra Modi is the man who gets them political power. The truth is that Narendra Modi is more popular than Mohan Bhagwat is with the average Indian. So, you know, the truth is that today, if the RSS is going to celebrate its 100 years at a time when the Saffron Party is in power, the credit for that has to be given to Narendra Modi, not to the RSS. Even if the RSS has foot soldiers and campaigns for them and so on and so forth, the heavy lifting is done by Mr. Modi himself. In fact, the BJP, I believe, is non-existent. It's all Narendra Modi. So here is the story. Mr. Modi got many of his uh, arch rivals, at least in terms of their ideological perception or their personality or their halo, out of the game with that whole retirement at 75. It doesn't apply to him. But that's the way he's always been. If you follow all those people who knew Mr. Modi, have written books on the gentleman, you'll find that he's his own authoritarian man. For him, it's a different set of rules. For LK Advani, who literally, in my opinion, gave BJP the first shot at power, uh, they shafted him. Narendra Modi has different rules for him. So RSS, I think, frankly speaking, will make its noises, but I don't think anybody in the system has got the courage to take on Narendra Modi at this point of time. So Mr. Modi is going to be there, and he's going to be there until I think he's electorally defeated, and for which I think one message that is emerging for the Congress and for the India Alliance is get your house in order, come
Right.
together, which they are doing in Bihar. It's a wonderful sight, right, to see a young Akhilesh, a young Tejasvi, and a and a Rahul Gandhi all getting together on mobikes and campaigning. They look like an India of the future. When I see Mr. Shah and Mr. Modi, they look like a very regressive part of India's past. And I'm not commenting on their age. I'm just talking about their ideology. Mr. Shah talked about English being, some kind of an insult. I mean, these are like such archaic thinking. You have somebody from the BJP who believes that it wasn't the person who first went to the space was Bhagwan Hanuman. So you're seeing all kinds of very preposterous statements being made. I think the former chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, has said something equally shocking recently on some other fantastical myth. So I think we have serious problems here in the way the BJP works. But yeah, I think I do believe that Rahul Gandhi has an opportunity here to really make sure that not just in Bihar, but in the big elections coming up next year, the Congress really fights it tooth and nail to win as many as they can. And if you look at the states, and I'm going to maybe through your program, of course, I will share it with my friends in the Congress as well. The Congress must win Kerala next year. The Congress, I think, with DMK has a big chance in Tamil Nadu to continue to be in governance. Puducherry may be a small place, but these are very symbolic. You got to win that, win it away, and kind of come back in power. But I think the big test for the Congress probably is going to be Assam. West Bengal is, I think, frankly, I
Yes.
believe TMC has got a head start there. But I don't know whether TMC and Congress will come together. But if the Congress were to win Assam, that to me will be the big talking point of the next year. I mean, Rahul Gandhi needs to make one spectacular comeback, which I think will put this whole conversation on Modi versus Rahul in place. I think Rahul is sounding seasoned, smart. He's fighting it out. He should not lose people from his team. This is a good time for him to get people together, be inspirational, forward looking, create an agenda, talk about your own plans. But yes, I think go hammer and tongs on issues that affect the common man. And he's identified the right issues, right? The voting system, social justice, economic empowerment, the caste survey to kind of make sure we are not going to suffer from income inequality, and challenging Mr. Modi now both on foreign policy and, as he's always done, on crony capitalism. Rahul Gandhi has got issues. Now he needs to just get out on the road and put it across to the common people of India.
But of course, these state elections will be a big test for
Mhm.
India Bloc. But India Bloc seems to be holding on to a certain narrative. Now, will that narrative work beyond Bihar elections, whether it is Tamil Nadu or Kerala? I don't know how far this vote chori campaign will go. And we must not forget that courts have to really come to some kind of a decision when it comes to SIR, and the hearing again is in the first week of September. But the big question now is that you said that no one has the audacity to stand up to Prime Minister Modi, especially when
Mhm.
it comes to relations between RSS and BJP. But the extraneous factors, if you look around, and the kind of murmurs which we are hearing within the political corridors, say, for
Mhm.
example, recently what we saw, ORF versus CRF. Then people are talking about Shankar versus Ajit Doval. Then there is a certain shift where Shankar and Shankar and is tilting towards more like towards US, and Adani and Doval are tilting towards China. Now this is the kind of murmur which is happening. Then with the news tightening around Ambani's, lot is being discussed right now. And I had interviewed just a few days back Yashwant Sinha for this channel, where he said that Modi doesn't seem to be like a man who is in control of the things. He's no more on the driver's seat. So isn't it a little antithetical of what we are talking about? Like, we say that okay, RSS doesn't still have the courage to stand up to Modi, but RSS at the same time realizes that there is a declining popularity of Prime Minister Modi internationally, and also as well as on the domestic front. So is it a strange situation now for RSS and Modi both to handle?
Well, I would call it as cold peace. There's a frozen turbulence in many of these equations. Now, you have talked about a lot of internal subterranean battles within the BJP and the government and the party as a whole. Probably all of that may be true, but the fact is that if you look at even the India Today survey, they asked about potential candidates to replace Narendra Modi, and the names that came up were Yogi Adityanath and Amit Shah. Now, I don't know what the Modi supporters want, but in my assessment, neither of these two gentlemen will have any pan India acceptance, which brings you to the fundamental point that there is actually no BJP after Narendra Modi.
Yes.
I'm going to say it on your show that if Mr. Modi were to lose an election, or his political brand keeps diminishing at the rate at which I think it has begun to, and probably will accelerate after Bihar, although Mr. Modi's got every fundamental right to fight back, through various hook or by crook, which is mostly the latter. The fact remains that that end of day, I really see post the Modi phase, the BJP could just kind of crash, could just capitulate. It happened to the Congress. Don't forget, Congress had one terrible season last 2 years of UPA two, and it came from 206 to around 44. What makes you think that the BJP can't come from 240 to 55 or 80 or 90? It can happen. I think if today, if you look at BJP's vote share, it's around 37%. And when we were having this panel discussion on India Today, many people were of the opinion, there was some consensus, it's not just my view, that if you take away the Modi factor, which has helped the BJP override all kinds of terrible problems, allegations, corruption, scams, and poor governance, it would be close to around 13 to 14%. So if there is, if the Modi factor is gone, frankly, the BJP could be down to 21, 22%, maybe 25% vote share, which means it could be happily sitting in the opposition. So I think this is an opportunity for the Congress, Neelu. I think in politics, there is only one winner, and frankly, there is no runners up trophy. You are not fighting politics to get a silver medal. You have to get, there's only one medal, and the winner takes it all. Now, Rahul Gandhi seems to be demonstrating that he understands that the longer Mr. Modi and the BJP continue to be in power at the center of the states, the more difficult it's going to be for the opposition to reclaim the idea of India, to fight for the constitution that belongs to all of us. That democracy, I mean, today a Karan Thapar getting all kinds of sedition notices, and
Yes.
everybody, I mean, Siddharth Varadarajan, Abhisar Sharma has got FIRs. I mean, we are seeing things that would never happened before in our country. The media is being openly threatened. These are unhealthy developments. These are things that are, very scary for the country.
No,
So,
but it also reveals, Sanjay, that do you feel that Modi currently is a man in outright fear? And which is why these drastic measures, clamping down on journalists, bringing in a bill like 130th Constitution Amendment Bill. All of a sudden, we do not know where the vice president of the country has disappeared. The former vice president Jagdeep Dhankar, till date we do not know. So some weird and strange things are happening, and it seems that it also looks mythical. You suddenly see somebody disappearing, as what we've read in the mythology. I mean, why are we seeing things like this? Is it a sign? Is it an indication of Modi in a perpetual fear now?
It's so ironical, a paradox really, Neelu, that Mr. Modi had created an image among a large section of India, mostly from the rural or what I would call as the semi-urban pockets of India, that he had brought glory to our country through his multiple overseas visits. I think the Trump ceasefire and the overall humiliation of India, literally, I mean, we have been called the laundromat of Kremlin oil. I mean, we had literally been told that you're oil laundering. I mean,
Yes.
this is the kind of insult that would make Jawaharlal Nehru squirm wherever Pandit Nehru is in heaven today. It's so sad that India is being rebuked and reproached, not just by the American president, by everyone in the American establishment, and there is no defense, frankly. So here is the truth that Mr. Modi's imagery has taken a massive hit, and I'll tell you why that should be a worry for the BJP and maybe worries RSS to some extent. That Mr. Modi is a product of these optics. Mr. Modi has leveraged that, right? That the way he dresses, his everything is like a choreographed performance, which is why he uses the digital teleprompter, because he doesn't want to look as somebody who can make an error, who can say something which is not like which is spoken like you and I are talking on the show, right? Very spontaneously, we're talking through our natural instincts. He doesn't want to take any risks, which is why the prime minister has not done any press conference in 11 years. He's a zero risk, highly controlled, highly dominating
Modi
man.
doesn't do a press conference, but RSS chief finally has done a press conference,
Yeah.
which is so
But here is
unusual.
yeah. But here is the point, right? That he went to this Upki Bar Trump Sarkar and Howdy Modi stuff. And that is what has hurt him. I think Trump has damaged his reputation and made him look the one word that I think Mr. Modi clearly detests: weak. And I think, somewhere down the line, I asked myself the same question that you mentioned, Neelu. I think we have a few minutes on the program, and maybe this is
Yes,
something I
yes.
don't want to forget. That, when this whole bill has come, that we can arrest a chief minister in 30 days and we can arrest a minister. I'm like appalled. Why would a government do that? You already, why would you kind of, use your enforcement agencies so blatantly to destabilize governments? Clearly there is panic within the BJP about something that they're seeing, the writing on the wall. And normally Mr. Modi is he's got sharp instincts. And maybe as you and I are saying that he's weak and his perception has gone from maybe bad to worse, probably he's sensitive too, which is why all these panic reactions as plan B.
So, which means that I'm sure, like what we are discussing, Modi is bound to make more mistakes. Now, like for example, I think it was day before yesterday when he said, "Paisa gora ho ya kala ho, dollar ho ya pound ho, Swadesi," and all of a sudden this definition of Swadesi change. But I'm not getting into that because I'm coming to my last question to you, Sanjay. That now, when you look at the mood of the nation survey, the way things are happening, BJP and Prime Minister Modi, seemingly appear in panic. If I have to ask you my final question, what is it about Rahul versus Modi now? Will people accept Rahul as the prime minister?
Well, I can tell you one thing: Rahul Gandhi is now the clear, perceptible option for the India alliance to back. And for that, the Congress party needs to work with genuine understanding and, shall we say, appreciation of what the regional parties bring to the table. It's very important for Rahul Gandhi to personally do an outreach to everybody. I mean,
No, but what
he
if,
may not.
no, despite all the popularity, Sanjay, what if Rahul Gandhi turns around and says, when it comes to, forming the government, he says, I don't want to become the prime minister. What happens then?
Well, I can tell you
Because
something. I think Rahul Gandhi
time and
is.
again, he has said that he's not interested in becoming the prime minister.
I think that is now past. The Congress is clearly now going to double down on Rahul Gandhi as a prime ministerial candidate. Uh, don't forget that the BJP is down to a coalition government. It's taken time, but at least the BJP is down in the third term. It is not a Modi 3.0, it's a coalition government, number one. Number two, the Bharat Jodo Yatra has really repositioned him very differently at a personal ideological level. I think the vote chori and what he's doing in the last 6 months has brought out the consummate politician that he needed to become. And I think there are going to be always these borderline cynics who in the past were critical of Rahul, but will have to grudgingly accept that today he's not just looking like an alternative to Narendra Modi, he's looking like a viable and a better alternative than Narendra
Absolutely.
Modi has been. And I think to that extent, there should be optimism. Everyone in this country who watches your program, who cares for democracy, who cares for secularism, who cares for institutions, who cares for India's constitutional future. I think above all, right, who cares for a country that deserves better than what we are getting. I think we need to all come together. I don't call the India group as an opposition. I call them as an option. And I do hope that Rahul Gandhi continues with the same brio, fire in his belly, whether he sits on a bullet, sits on a or sits on a bull tomorrow. You got to do it. You got to do it. Simple as that. Remember that it was Mrs. Gandhi who sat famously on an elephant
The
and
elephant, yeah.
started. Yeah, you remember that whole Belchi thing. I think Belchi, right? Was it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Belchi moment.
Yeah, the whole comeback began. I think Rahul Gandhi could be doing it on a bullet. And I think that's great news for India.
Right. So the bullet moment of Rahul Gandhi. But yes, let's wait and watch how things unfold. Thank you so much, Sanjay, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Thank you.